Bombshell Gooners, Arsenal have just made a verbal offer for Newcastle's captain, and the midfield overhaul this could trigger has put one of our own players on high alert. Meanwhile, Manchester United and Chelsea have just entered the race for Arsenal's £69 million transfer target, setting up a fierce battle in the market. And finally, Arsenal have also been tipped as a potential destination for a Liverpool Academy graduate turned Premier League midfielder, and the asking price will completely surprise you. If you want all the details on these explosive stories as this transfer window builds towards something huge, subscribe right now, turn on notifications, and let's get straight into it. Let's jump straight into the first story because this one has the potential to completely reshape Arsenal's entire midfield, and according to The Athletic, the Gunners have already made their move. Arsenal have submitted a verbal offer to Newcastle United for captain Bruno Guimaraes, worth less than £60 million, communicated through intermediaries. Newcastle rejected it immediately and have made clear they will not entertain offers for the 28-year-old. Now, Newcastle's resistance is completely understandable. Guimaraes is their captain, their heartbeat, and a player with a contract running until June 2028. But here is why Arsenal believe this pursuit is worth the difficulty. Guimaraes offers a level of tactical flexibility that very few midfielders in world football can match. Speaking previously about his game, he explained it himself. I prefer to play as a second defensive midfielder, but I also play as a number 10 and a number 5. The person who can play in more than one position in modern football is always one step ahead. That versatility is exactly what Arteta craves. Picture this midfield. Guimaraes and Declan Rice interchanging fluidly between the 6 and the 8, giving Martin Odegaard genuine freedom to roam in the final third without sacrificing defensive solidity. When Rice needs rest for the biggest games, Guimaraes slots seamlessly into the pivot, something Martin Zubimendi occasionally struggled with last season. That is the uncomfortable truth at the centre of this story. If Guimaraes arrives, Zubimendi's status as an automatic starter is genuinely under threat. A player signed for £56 million just 12 months ago could find himself pushed into a rotational role behind a new-look core of Rice, Guimaraes and Odegaard, with Zubimendi, Lewis Skelly and Marino used as impact options. That is a brutal reality for a player who has given everything to this club. But if Arteta believes Guimaraes elevates the ceiling in the biggest moments, that is a decision he has to make. Newcastle's rejection is just the opening move. Berta will need to dig much deeper to get this one done. Now let's talk about Maxi Araujo, because according to Record in Portugal, Manchester United and Chelsea have both entered the race for the Sporting CP left-back, threatening to hijack a deal Arsenal have been quietly working on since April. Arsenal made initial contact with Araujo's camp back in the spring, and Arteta is understood to have been genuinely impressed by his performances across Sporting's 2 Champions League quarter-final ties against the Gunners. That is real first-hand scouting evidence, not second-hand reports, but the competition has now intensified significantly. United sent representatives to watch Araujo during Uruguay's 2-2 draw with Cape Verde at the World Cup last weekend, and Chelsea are monitoring him as a direct replacement for Marc Cucurella, who departed for Real Madrid in a £52 million deal earlier this month. The numbers explain exactly why this interest has exploded. Araujo produced 7 goals and 6 assists across all competitions for Sporting last season, and he has carried that form directly into the World Cup, contributing 2 goals and an assist in Uruguay's opening 2 group games. At 26 years old, with both attacking and defensive capability on the left side, he represents a genuinely complete full-back profile. The complication for any interested club is Sporting's negotiating position. Araujo has 3 years remaining on his contract, which includes an €80 million release clause, roughly £69 million. That is a serious number, and Sporting know they hold all the leverage unless that clause is triggered directly. Speaking after Uruguay's draw, Araujo himself left the door firmly open. "I'm very happy at Sporting, but you never know what's going to happen. That is not a denial. That is an admission that change could be coming. With 3 Premier League clubs now circling and the release clause sitting there as a clear path to completion, Arsenal cannot afford to sit back and let United or Chelsea move first. Trigger the clause, Berta, before this one slips away. Now let's talk about a name that genuinely caught Gooners off guard this week, because according to Lewis Steele on Anfield Index and the Daily Mail, Arsenal have been tipped to show interest in Liverpool's Curtis Jones, and the financial picture around this potential deal is fascinating. Liverpool are reportedly demanding £35 million for the 25-year-old, having already rejected a £21 million approach from Inter Milan, who have been tracking him for an extended period. That asking price in today's wildly inflated midfield market represents serious value for a player with Jones's profile and pedigree. The numbers tell the story of a genuinely accomplished Premier League midfielder. Jones has made over 200 appearances for Liverpool, contributing 22 goals and 25 assists, and he has done it all as a homegrown academy product who knows exactly what it takes to compete and win at the very top level. His versatility, capable of operating across multiple midfield positions depending on tactical needs, is precisely the kind of profile Arteta has consistently shown he values. But here is the honest context behind why this deal makes sense for both parties. Jones has never quite established himself as an undisputed first-choice starter at Anfield, a situation that has left him visibly frustrated at times. He enters the final year of his contract this July, which significantly increases the urgency on Liverpool's side to cash in now rather than risk losing him for nothing next summer. For Arsenal, with Christian Norgaard's future uncertain and Zubimendi no longer guaranteed a starting role, adding genuine Premier League quality at £35 million looks like smart, efficient business. Jones is experienced, vastly underused relative to his ability, and has not yet hit his ceiling. Regular first-team football at a club competing at the very top could be exactly the platform that finally unlocks his full potential. Watch this space. Inter Milan will not give up easily. Now let's round things off with a detailed look at RB Leipzig winger Yan Diomande, because Arsenal's reported interest in the 19-year-old makes complete sense on paper. But there are important nuances every Gooner needs to understand before getting carried away. Diomande's path to the Bundesliga has been unusual. The Ivory Coast international developed at DME Academy in Florida, played briefly at CD Leganes in Spain, then joined Leipzig in July of last year. Despite that short senior sample size, Leipzig threw him straight into first-team football, 33 Bundesliga appearances, 28 starts, 2,476 minutes. The output matched the trust shown in him. 12 goals, 8 assists, 20 direct goal involvements in his debut top-flight season. The underlying data is where this story gets genuinely exciting. Diomande produced 7.1 progressive carries per 90 minutes and 3.84 carries into the box per 90, both ranking in the 99th percentile among positionally similar players in Europe. He also added 4.34 successful take-ons per game and 5.09 shot-creating actions per 90. This is a player who does not wait for teammates to create the opening. He generates it himself by beating the first defender and driving directly into the box. That profile fits Arsenal's transitional needs perfectly. But here is the crucial caution. His expected goals output last season sat around 5.1 to 5.6, meaning 12 actual goals represents a significant overperformance against the underlying numbers. That does not mean he is a fraud. It means Arsenal must value the explosive carrying ability as the more reliable, repeatable part of his game, rather than assuming that exact conversion rate continues season after season. The other consideration is Arteta's specific tactical demands. Arsenal spend long spells of matches against deep, compact defensive blocks, a very different challenge to the transitional, high-tempo football Diomande has thrived in at Leipzig. He would need real development in slower possession phases. With Leipzig holding his contract until 2030 and the price sitting in genuinely premium territory, this is a high-ceiling gamble rather than a guaranteed upgrade. Arsenal should absolutely keep watching, but eyes wide open about exactly what they would be buying. Now I want to hear from you. Would you sacrifice Zubimendi's starting spot to bring in Bruno Guimaraes? Should Arsenal trigger Araujo's release clause immediately before United or Chelsea move first? Is Curtis Jones at £35 million smart business? And does Diamande's profile excite you despite the overperformance concerns? Drop everything in the comments right now. I read every single one, and your debates are always absolutely electric. Let's build this summer together. And if you want every Arsenal update as we push to bring that Champions League trophy to the Emirates, hit that subscribe button immediately. Smash it right now and turn on notifications. This window is delivering everything, and we are coming for it all. Until next time, Gooners, come on you Gunners!